As you know, my name is Eric Natuovi. I come from Vanuatu, and there are about 80 islands in Vanuatu, little islands. And I come from the further southern island called Futuna, and I've been living mostly in Port Vila, the capital. I've been doing the work for a number of years now. In the pottery, I've been doing that since '87 when I did my first study in Sydney. Now, before I talk about my work, I would like to say a little bit about the art of Vanuatu and the life, or generally about information about Vanuatu. As I've said, we have 80 islands and we have about 110 languages, different dialects, and the population now is about 160,000, and we used to be a condominium country, British and French, and we had our independence in 1980, and we have our own government, our own state, and we have a democratic government. So that's a little bit about our government. Our industry, our main industry is tourism, mostly tourists from Australia, New Zealand, and New Caledonia, and Europe. And the second industry is copra from coconut. Although we're part of the Melanesian country, that's Solomon's, Papua New Guinea, New Caledonia, we have different customs. Each island has its own custom. So I would say that Vanuatu has, although it's small in physical, geographical, but in art it's very big. I just cannot talk about other people's art or other islands' art. If I am right, I'll just talk about my own art. My little island, about 600 people, we are partly mixed Melanesian, Polynesian, so we are a mixed race. And like some other islands in the Pacific, which all Melanesian, Polynesian coming from the east, I think, settled in these islands, and my island happened to be a mixed race. So I'm not a purely Melanesian, purely Polynesian, but sitting in the middle. My island is very popular, especially in the performing and creative arts. I have a colleague who is also curator of the Vanuatu Cultural Center, who also comes from my island and my relatives. So we have a good band, local string band, we call it the local band, and performing art. They have been traveling a lot in the Pacific and in Europe. So I better come to my work. During in the history of Vanuatu, about 3,000 to 4,000 years ago, about 90% of the islands were making pottery. And since then, I think when the introduction of the new materials like westernized pots, whatever, they decided to leave the pottery business. I have with me the poster here just to show you some of the early potters. We have two types of pottings in Vanuatu. That's the lapita potting. Lapita potting is all Pacific islands, and the other one is the long one down the bottom, is called the Makasi potting. Now we have two different purposes for that. The top one is mainly for cooking, and the other one is here for storing the bones. That's for ceremonial purposes. And this has been used in some of the islands after a person dies. A few weeks or a few months later, he has to be dug up, and all the bones are to be collected together and stored in this pot. So we have pots for certain purposes, for daily uses and also for ceremonial uses. Now, today in Vanuatu, there is no potting except one island up north of Espiritu Santo. That's the Wusi people. They are the only one who are still doing primitive pottery. Whereas the other islands, there is no more pots. Now, when I came to Sydney in '87, I have to choose from a number of courses, and when I look around, fiber art, whatever, they always but we're doing that in Vanuatu, so I chose to do the ceramics making pots, so that's when I learned to make pots. When I get back to Vanuatu, I found that there is no clay, so I stopped for 7 years, and then later I met up with a friend from Brisbane, and then we decided to order some clay from Brisbane, and then that's when I started pottery. Now, here's some of my work. So these are the first work I've been doing in Vanuatu. So all open pots, very simple with fines, whatever. So these are the works I've been doing. Now, recently I changed my my work into into this type of work with I used pig's tusks and wood mounted onto the pots. Now, my work mainly based on the culture, the myth, legends, or the social life of the people, and also look at the present situation, like politics or women's rights or whatever. Now, this piece at the front here, as you can see, there are two different people there. I think you could work it out yourself, a lady and a gentleman. In our society, we have two different environments, that's for the men and for the women. And it's in our custom that two sexes are to be separated. That is against custom that women should not go to certain areas where men are performing the ceremonies or whatever. And also for the men to go to the women's world, whatever. Yeah. So that is the custom. The laws, peace, tasks represent culture, the custom. And also the two tasks up in the middle, they're representing the men. The men can work their way up through their status, social status, by ceremonial performances like pig killing ceremonies. And the women, they have no upgrading in their social status. They always remain lower than the men. So, in other words, the men are more superior than women. Sorry to say that. And that is our custom. That is how our structure in our culture says on now. Now, today, the top tasks are the modern society in Vanuatu, where the men and the women have equal rights over education, something that has been coming over from outside. We have education and we have equal rights, place of work, or we can talk, in meetings, whatever. Whereas custom wouldn't allow the women to talk in the meetings. They're supposed to be in the backyard while the men are doing the talking and negotiation in the nakmal or the meeting place. I think I should stop there. If anybody has any question, whatever, may ask me. Someone just asked if they are handmade. Now in Sydney, I learned two types of pottings, like the wheel, using the wheel, and then the coiling pot. Now all these ones are handmade. I don't use a machine or a wheel, all hand. I want to be an artist. I want to work with my hands rather than use something else to control me. I want to control the pot, the clay. So all these are handmade, all the woods, everything are handmade. Thank you.